Hello guys, we are to simplify the question we have on the screen, and it says 3 root 2 minus root 3 all divided by 2 root 3 minus 2. So our aim is to simplify this. Now when we have a short question like this, where we have a numerator and a denominator, as in this case. So what we need to do is we rationalize by the conjugate of the denominator. Let me write it down. We rationalize by the conjugates of the denominator. So we have done that. So all we need to do is rationalize by the conjugate of the denominator. And what does it mean to rationalize? To rationalize means we multiply both the numerator by a particular term. Then also we multiply the denominator also by a particular term. But which term are we multiplying both numerator and the denominator with? We are multiplying both numerator and denominator by the conjugates of the denominator. So we are multiplying now both numerator and denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. So we are going to write the conjugates here, and also divided by, we are writing the conjugate also here. And that is what it means to rationalize. But the question is, what is conjugates? Do we know what conjugate is all about? Now let's quickly talk about what conjugate is all about, as in short format in this case. Now when we have root A plus root B, the conjugate of a surd like this, root A plus root B, is going to be root A minus root B. So the sign is going to change from plus to minus. And also when we have a surd in this format, let's say 3 root 2 minus 4. And we are to get the conjugate of 3 root 2 minus 4. So the conjugate becomes 3 root 2 plus 4. So that is, the sign would change. So since we've been able to understand what conjugate is all about, now when we have situation like this and we have to simplify, please take note again, multiply both numerator and the denominator by the conjugate of the denominator. Now we have the denominator now to be 2 root 3 minus 2. So what is the conjugate of the denominator now? The conjugate is going to be 2 root 3 then plus 2. So this is what we are multiplying both numerator and denominator with. Now let's quickly get that done. So we have, let me write the question again properly. So writing down the question, we have 3 root 2 minus root 3 divided by 2 root 3 minus 2. Now we are multiplying by the conjugate of the denominator. We know what conjugate means. So we have multiplied by, so we have 2 root 3, but this time around you're having plus 2. That's the conjugate of the denominator. Then divided by 2 root 3 again, then plus 3. So all we just need to do is get simplification done. So we multiply. So that is, we are going to be multiplying all that we have here with this. Then also we are multiplying this with this. So it's just like expansion. So let's quickly get that done. So we have 3 root 2 to multiply 2 root 3, as in this case here. So 3 root 2 to multiply 2 root 3. So we know that the 3 here is going to multiply the 2 here. So to give us 6. So we have 6. Then also root 2 and root 3 will multiply to give us root 6. So we have 6 root 6. And again, we are going to be using 3 root 2 to multiply 2. And of course, when we use 3 root 2 to multiply 2, 3 multiplied by 2 is going to give us 6. So in this case, we are going to be having plus 6, but we still have root 2. So 6 root 2. So whatever it is that we have done for 3 root 2 must also be done for negative root 3. So we are using negative root 3 to multiply all the times here also. So we have negative root 3 multiplied by 2 root 3. Of course, we know that it is going to give us, so we have negative root 3 multiplied by 2 root 3. We know that root 3 and root 3 should give us root 9. So we're going to be having negative 2 multiplied by root 9. And root 9 is 3. So we have negative 2 multiplied by 3. And that's negative 6. So we have minus 6. So let's quickly write that. So we have minus 6. Now we have negative root 3 multiplied by 2. And that should give us minus 2 root 3. Now let's write that down. So we have minus 2 root 3. So since you have been able to get that done, we need to look into the denominator part too. So we have divided by, so we have 2 root 3 multiplying 2 root 3. Of course, it's easy to see that when we have 2 root 3 multiplying 2 root 3 again, so we know that 2 and 2 will give us 4. 2 times 2 is 4. And we know that root 3 times root 3 will give us root 9. And of course, root 9 is 3. So we have 4 multiplied by 3, and that's 12. So we have 12. So let's quickly write that down. So we have 12. Then we have root 2 root 3 again, multiplying 2. So 2 root 3 multiplying 2 should give us 4 root 3. So all I just need to do is write 4 root 3. We have plus 4 root 3. And again, we're going to be using 2. This negative 2 to multiply all we have here. So we have minus 2 times 2 root 3. So it's easy to see that it's going to be minus 4 root 3. And lastly, we have minus 2 times 2. And that's minus 4. So write minus 4. Let me clean this up. So since we have minus 4, all we need to do now is simplify accordingly. So it's easy to see that we do not have any term in the numerator that are similar. None of the terms, none of them is similar. So they are not similar in any way. So we need to write them like that. So we have 6 root 6, of course, plus 6 root 2, then minus 6, minus 2 root 3, divided by, so it's easy to see that 4 root 3 minus 4 root 3 would cancel out to give us 0. So we have 12 minus 4 left. 12 minus 4. And 12 minus 4 is 8. So let me clean that up and write 8 instead. So we have divided by 8. And of course, I can easily use 2 to divide both the numerators and the denominator. So I have 2 here. Okay, let me just divide 2 in 6 is going to give us 3. So I have 3 root 6. 2 in 6 is going to give us 3. So we have 3 root 2. Then again, 2 in 6 is going to give us 3. So we have negative 3 here. Then 2 in 2 is going to give us 1. So we have ordinary root 3. And of course, 2 in 8 is going to give us 4. So lastly, I'm going to be writing the answer as 3 root 6 plus 3 root 2, then minus root 3, then I'll be writing the negative 3 as the last. So minus 3, all divided by 4. So this is the final answer. Or I can still split by writing them as 3 root 6 divided by 4 plus 3 root 2 divided by 4 minus root 3 divided by 4, and of course, minus 3 divided by 4. So it's still going to be the same thing. So this is the final answer, or this. Anyone you choose to get or to use is correct. Please do well to like, to share, and to comment. You are great.